this video, we embark on a revealing journey into the intricate world of manipulation, a phenomenon that touches every corner of our interconnected lives. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, as if the clarity of your thoughts had been clouded? Or perhaps you found yourself agreeing to something you initially didn't want to, only to wonder later how you were so convincingly persuaded. These experiences may not be mere coincidences, but could be instances of subtle manipulation working its way through the very fabric of your interactions. Today we will discuss 10 STOIC lessons on how to avoid being controlled by other people against your will. Number 1. Introduction to manipulation. In this video, we embark on a revealing journey into the intricate world of manipulation, a phenomenon that touches every corner of our interconnected lives. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, as if the clarity of your thoughts had been clouded? Or perhaps you found yourself agreeing to something you initially didn't want to, only to wonder later how you were so convincingly persuaded. These experiences may not be mere coincidences, but could be instances of subtle manipulation, working its way through the very fabric of your interactions. Manipulation is an art practiced in the shadows, often going unnoticed until its effects are deeply felt. In our day-to-day interactions, we meet a variety of people, each bringing their own set of intentions and techniques into the conversations. While many of these interactions are benign, providing us with connections and experiences that enrich our lives, there exists a darker side where intentions turn manipulative, aiming to sway us subtly to serve others' hidden agendas. But what exactly is manipulation? At its core, manipulation is an attempt to influence someone's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors without their full awareness, to achieve a specific outcome favorable to the manipulator. This can range from simple persuasion techniques to complex psychological strategies designed to leave you doubting your own perceptions and decisions. In this interconnected world, where we are constantly engaging with different people both in person and through digital media, our exposure to potential manipulation is amplified. These manipulative attempts are not limited to personal interactions, but are also prevalent in the media we consume, the advertisements that catch our eyes, and the social networks that influence our thoughts and feelings. The ability to recognize and understand these manipulative tactics is more crucial than ever. It arms us with the knowledge to safeguard our autonomy and ensure that our decisions reflect our true desires and needs. This video isn't merely a lecture. It's a comprehensive guide to unveiling the 10 most subtle and powerful forms of manipulation encountered in daily life. We will explore each type in detail, providing you with the understanding needed to identify when you're being manipulated and offering strategies to effectively counter these tactics. From emotional manipulation that plays with your feelings to gaslighting that makes you question your reality, we'll cover a range of methods employed by manipulators to bend your will. Why is this knowledge so important? Because living in an era where manipulation is rampant, not only in interpersonal relationships, but also through larger structures like the media and global corporations, being able to discern and protect oneself from such influences is an act of self-preservation. It is a step towards greater personal freedom and mental resilience. Throughout this journey, I will guide you through the labyrinth of manipulation, showing you how to recognize the signs and neutralize the influence of manipulators in your life. This exploration is essential for anyone looking to maintain their power within relationships and make informed decisions that align with their personal values and integrity. As we proceed, remember that this video is just the starting point. The real work begins with you, applying what you learn here to your everyday life. continually growing in awareness and strength. If you're new here, I encourage you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on content that empowers you to navigate through life's complex social dynamics with confidence. Let's begin this journey of discovery and empowerment together, unraveling the tactics of manipulation and reclaiming control over our own decisions and lives. Number 2, understanding manipulation. As we delve deeper into the world of manipulation, it's crucial to develop a robust understanding of the various forms it can take and the subtle ways in which it can infiltrate our everyday interactions. Manipulation, by its very nature, is designed to be covert and deceptive, making it a complex and pervasive force that can challenge our autonomy and influence our decision-making processes without our conscious awareness. The realm of manipulation is vast, encompassing a range of tactics from the mildly persuasive to the profoundly insidious. To navigate this terrain effectively, we need to recognize these tactics and understand their underlying principles. This chapter will explore the 10 most subtle and powerful forms of manipulation that we commonly encounter, shedding light on their mechanics and demonstrating how they can impact our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Emotional manipulation. This form of manipulation plays directly with our emotions, aiming to elicit feelings that will lead us to act in ways that we might not have otherwise considered. Manipulators using this tactic may exploit feelings of guilt, fear, love, or obligation to sway us into making decisions that serve their ends. Gaslighting. A particularly nefarious tactic, gaslighting involves making someone question their reality, memory, or perceptions. By casting doubt on the validity of one's experiences, the manipulator gains the upper hand and can control the victim's sense of self and reality, leading to confusion and dependency. Logical fallacies. These are deceptive arguments that appear sound at first glance but are fundamentally flawed. Manipulators use logical fallacies to undermine arguments and sway opinions. Recognizing these fallacies is essential for maintaining clarity of thought and protecting oneself from being misled. Group pressure. Often seen in social or professional settings, this tactic leverages the human desire to belong and conform to group norms. Manipulators use group pressure to enforce compliance with certain behaviors or attitudes, making it challenging for individuals to maintain their personal integrity. Isolation tactics. By isolating their targets from support networks, manipulators can exert greater control over them. This might involve disparaging friends and family, or monopolizing the target's time and attention, gradually severing their connections to others. Ultimatums. Manipulators often use ultimatums to force a decision under pressure by presenting stark choices. This creates a false sense of urgency and limits the victim's options, coercing them into making decisions that might not be in their best interest. Blame shifting. In this tactic, the manipulator shifts responsibility for their actions onto the victim, making them feel unjustly responsible for negative outcomes. This can lead to a damaging cycle of guilt and compliance. Information overload. By overwhelming someone with information, whether complex, conflicting, or simply too voluminous, manipulators can hinder the individual's ability to make clear, informed decisions, leading to paralysis or poorly considered choices. Topic shifting. When a manipulator constantly changes the subject to avoid accountability or to keep the other person off balance, it prevents meaningful discussions and resolution of issues, leaving unresolved conflicts and confusion. Excessive flattery. Using persistent praise and compliments, A manipulator can disarm someone's skepticism and lower their defenses, making it easier to influence their actions and decisions. Each of these tactics has its own subtleties and can be employed in various combinations to achieve the desired influence. By understanding these forms of manipulation, you can begin to notice when conversations take a manipulative turn, or when relationships start to feel disproportionately draining or directional. As we explore each of these tactics in greater detail, remember that the goal is not only to recognize when manipulation is occurring, but also to develop strategies to respond effectively. This knowledge empowers us to stand firm in our values and decisions, ensuring that our interactions and relationships are based on genuine understanding and mutual respect. Through this comprehensive exploration, we aim to equip you with the tools and knowledge necessary to defend against manipulation, preserving your autonomy, and enhancing your ability to navigate complex social interactions. This understanding is not just an act of self-defense, but a step towards greater personal freedom and empowerment. Let's continue to unpack these tactics further, ensuring that you can identify and counteract them effectively in your daily life. Number 3. Defensive strategies. In the complex landscape of social interactions where manipulation can often be subtly interwoven, developing robust defensive strategies is not merely an option. It is essential for maintaining personal integrity and autonomy. This chapter delves into the practical techniques and mindsets that can empower you to defend against manipulation, ensuring that your decisions and relationships reflect your true intentions and values, not those imposed upon you. Building self-awareness. The first line of defense against manipulation is a strong sense of self-awareness. Understanding your values, emotions, and the typical reaction you have to various situations enables you to recognize when something feels off. This awareness is like an internal compass that helps you navigate through emotionally charged or confusing interactions without losing sight of your true north. Setting clear boundaries. Boundaries are the physical, emotional, and mental limits we set to protect ourselves from being manipulated or harmed by others. They define where we end and another begins and are essential for healthy relationships. Establishing and maintaining clear boundaries teaches others how we want to be treated and what is not acceptable, thereby preventing manipulators from encroaching into our space. Developing critical thinking. To effectively counter manipulation, one must cultivate the ability to think critically about the information presented. This involves questioning assumptions, analyzing motives, and seeking out objective evidence before making decisions. By fostering a habit of critical thinking, you can avoid being swayed by emotionally charged or logically flawed arguments, often used in manipulative tactics. Enhancing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and empathize with others, can be a powerful tool against manipulation. By understanding your emotions and the emotions of others, you can better navigate the interpersonal dynamics that play into manipulation tactics. This understanding helps in identifying when emotions are being used against you as a form of control. Practicing assertiveness. Assertiveness is about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a clear, direct, and respectful way. It allows you to stand up for yourself without infringing on the rights of others. Practicing assertiveness ensures that your voice is heard, especially in situations where manipulative tactics might be used to silence or belittle your contributions. Strengthening support networks. Having a reliable support network can provide an external perspective that might be crucial in identifying and responding to manipulation. Friends, family, or professional advisors can offer insights and validation when you're unsure about a situation or relationship, helping you to see circumstances more clearly and reaffirm your perceptions. Keeping a factual record. In situations where manipulation involves gaslighting or distorting reality, keeping a factual record of events, conversations, and decisions can be invaluable. This might mean taking notes during meetings, saving correspondence, or journaling about interactions. Such records can serve as a reference to confirm the accuracy of your memory and perceptions, countering any attempts to manipulate your understanding of events. Engaging in continuous learning. The tactics used by manipulators evolve, and so should your strategies to counter them. Engaging in continuous learning about psychological and social manipulation can help you stay ahead. This can include reading books, attending workshops, or participating in training sessions focused on communication, negotiation, and psychological safety. Prioritizing self-care. Lastly, regular self-care practices can fortify your psychological and emotional defenses against manipulation. Activities such as meditation, exercise, and hobbies that promote relaxation and mental clarity can enhance your resilience, making you less susceptible to the stress and confusion that manipulation can cause. By adopting these defensive strategies, you equip yourself with a toolkit not just to counteract manipulation, but to foster healthier, more transparent relationships, both personally and professionally. This chapter arms you with practical steps and approaches to ensure that your autonomy is respected and that your interactions remain within the realm of healthy and constructive engagement. As we proceed to explore each manipulation tactic in detail in the following chapters, these strategies will form the bedrock of your defensive arsenal, enabling you to navigate the challenges of manipulation with confidence and integrity. Number 4. Emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation is a particularly insidious form of influence because it preys directly on our feelings, often leaving us uncertain about our own perceptions and choices. This chapter delves into the nature of emotional manipulation, its impact, and the strategies to recognize and neutralize its effects, enabling us to make decisions based on genuine self-understanding rather than external coercion. Understanding emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation occurs when someone exploits emotional triggers to control another person's actions or decisions. This can manifest in various guises, from inducing guilt or sympathy to invoking fear or obligation. Manipulators skilled in emotional tactics often possess a keen understanding of human psychology and may use this knowledge to play on the victim's vulnerabilities. By tapping into the core emotions of their targets, they can drive behavior subtly and efficiently. Common techniques of emotional manipulation. Guilt tripping. One of the most prevalent forms of emotional manipulation is the use of guilt to compel someone to act in a certain way. By suggesting that you are not living up to your own standards or those of others, manipulators can make you feel as though you owe them something. Fear-mongering. Instilling fear about potential outcomes is another technique where manipulators predict dire consequences if you do not follow their advice or directives. This method relies on the primal instinct of fear to push you towards specific actions or decisions. Love bombing. Overwhelming someone with affection and attention initially, only to withdraw it later, is a tactic used to create an emotional dependency. This seesaw of emotional highs and lows can manipulate someone into seeking approval constantly. Gaslighting. By denying or twisting facts to make someone question their sanity, memory, or perceptions. Gaslighting manipulators create a sense of doubt that makes their victims reliant on them for the correct version of reality. Strategies to recognize emotional manipulation. Recognizing emotional manipulation involves a keen awareness of both your emotional triggers and the behavior of others. Here are some strategies to help identify when emotional manipulation might be at play. Listen to your feelings. If an interaction leaves you feeling unusually guilty, scared, or obliged, consider whether manipulation could be involved. Emotions are indicators, and disproportionate emotional reactions might signal manipulative intent. Assess the consistency of behavior. Emotional manipulators often exhibit drastic changes in their treatment towards you, depending on their needs. A pattern of inconsistent behavior followed by emotional demands can be a warning sign. Watch for imbalance. If you find that your emotional needs are consistently sidelined in favor of another's, or if you always find yourself giving more than you receive, this could be indicative of a manipulative relationship. Neutralizing emotional manipulation. Once you recognize emotional manipulation, taking steps to neutralize it is crucial for maintaining your emotional health and decision-making autonomy. Here are effective ways to respond. Set emotional boundaries. Clearly define what is and isn't acceptable in how others treat you. Communicate these boundaries assertively and reinforce them consistently. Seek objectivity. Discuss your feelings and situations with trusted friends or advisors who can provide an outside perspective and help you see the situation more clearly. Practice self-reflection. Regularly reflecting on your emotional interactions can help you identify patterns and triggers, enabling you to better manage and respond to emotional manipulation. Develop emotional resilience. Building your self-esteem and emotional strength through practices like mindfulness, meditation, or therapy can help you respond to manipulation from a place of strength rather than vulnerability. Understanding and countering emotional manipulation requires vigilance, self-awareness, and proactive emotional management. By recognizing the signs and implementing the strategies outlined in this chapter, you can protect yourself from undue influence and maintain healthier relationships that respect emotional boundaries and mutual integrity. This not only enhances your personal freedom, but also empowers you to engage with others in a more authentic and fulfilling way. As we continue to explore other forms of manipulation, remember that the emotional dimension is often the most immediate and profound, requiring careful attention and thoughtful response. Number 5. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a sophisticated and devastating form of emotional manipulation that undermines the victim's reality, making them doubt their own memories, perceptions, and sanity. This tactic is often used in personal relationships, but can also be found in professional settings and wider social interactions. Understanding gaslighting, recognizing its signs, and learning effective countermeasures are critical for preserving one's mental health and personal autonomy. The nature of gaslighting. The term gaslighting originates from the 1938 play and later film, Gaslight, where a husband manipulates his wife into believing she is losing her sanity by subtly dimming their gas-powered lights and denying it is happening. Similarly, gaslighting in real life involves the manipulator presenting false information, denying or distorting the truth to make the victim doubt their own reality, memory, or perceptions. Techniques used in gaslighting. Denial of reality. Even when faced with concrete evidence, the gaslighter will deny ever saying or doing something, even if it was just moments ago. This leads the victim to question their memory and sanity. Trivializing feelings. The gaslighter may accuse the victim of being overly sensitive or hysterical when they express their feelings. This not only dismisses the victim's emotions, but also makes them feel inadequate and overly emotional. Using confusion. The manipulator might purposefully set up bizarre events or situations that disorient or confuse the victim. For example, they might move or hide objects, then accuse the victim of losing them, creating doubt about their cognitive abilities. Lying and exaggeration. A gaslighter will create a narrative that favors their perspective. They lie or exaggerate details to reshape facts, hoping to make the victim reliant on their version of reality. Recognizing gaslighting. Recognizing gaslighting can be challenging, as it is designed to be subtle and incremental. However, some common indicators can help identify this manipulative tactic. Feeling like something is off. You might feel confused or like you're constantly walking on eggshells around the manipulator, not knowing what is true anymore. Second-guessing yourself. Frequent self-doubt and questioning your own memory or thoughts in situations where you normally felt confident can be a sign of ongoing gaslighting. Decreased self-esteem. Over time, the constant doubt and confusion can erode your self-confidence and self-worth. Isolation. The manipulator might isolate you from friends and family who might support your version of reality or offer a different perspective. Countering gaslighting. Dealing with gaslighting requires a strong resolve and specific strategies to reaffirm your reality and regain confidence in your perceptions. Keep a record. Document conversations and events. This can be a critical way to confirm your own memories against the false narratives presented by the gaslighter. Seek external validation. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist about your experiences to get an outside perspective and validation of your reality. Set firm boundaries. Confront the gaslighter with facts and assert your understanding of reality. Make it clear that manipulation will not be tolerated. Rebuild self-esteem. Engage in activities and practices that boost your confidence and sense of self-worth. This might include therapy, self-help books, or mindfulness practices. Understanding and responding to gaslighting are crucial to safeguarding your mental health from manipulative influences. By being aware of the signs and equipping yourself with tools to fight back, you can protect your sense of reality and maintain your mental and emotional autonomy. Number 6. Logical fallacies. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that undermine the logic of an argument. They are frequently employed in manipulation, serving to deceive, mislead, or persuade by illogical reasoning. A solid understanding of common logical fallacies, their identification, and strategies for countering them can significantly enhance your ability to stand firm in your convictions and resist manipulative arguments. Understanding logical fallacies. Logical fallacies disrupt the foundation of a sound argument by introducing irrelevancies or errors in logic that may appear convincing at first glance. Manipulators use these fallacies to sway opinion or discredit opposition without having to provide a valid argument. Being familiar with these tactics not only helps you avoid falling victim to them, but also strengthens your ability to argue effectively and rationally. Common types of logical fallacies. Ad hominem. This fallacy occurs when the argument is directed against a person rather than addressing the issue at hand. For example, dismissing someone's argument because of their background or personal characteristics rather than the merits of their position. Straw man. Here, the manipulator exaggerates or misrepresents someone's argument to make it easier to attack. By defeating the weaker version, they claim victory over the original argument. Appeal to authority. This fallacy is used to claim something must be true because it is endorsed by an expert or authority figure, regardless of actual evidence. Slippery slope. A conclusion is based on a series of cause and effect, with the end result being extreme and often implausible. This argument suggests that one small step will inevitably lead to a chain of related events culminating in something significantly negative. False dichotomy. This involves presenting two opposing options as the only possibilities, ignoring other viable alternatives. This forces the listener to choose between two extremes, manipulating the outcome by limiting the options. Recognizing logical fallacies. Recognizing logical fallacies involves critical listening and analytical thinking. Key strategies include questioning the argument's structure. Look for leaps in logic, unsupported assertions, and attacks that aim more at the person than the argument. Seeking evidence. Always ask for evidence supporting the argument. A lack of solid evidence often reveals the use of a fallacy. Considering alternative perspectives. Acknowledge and explore other viewpoints. This can expose oversights and manipulation in the presented argument. Countering logical fallacies. Countering logical fallacies effectively requires clarity of thought and firmness in communication. Identify the fallacy. Clearly state what type of fallacy is being used and explain why it undermines the argument. Use logical arguments. Respond with well-structured arguments that rely on evidence and sound reasoning. Educate. Sometimes educating the other party about the fallacy they are using can stop its application and steer the conversation toward a more rational discussion. By understanding and being able to identify common logical fallacies, you equip yourself with the knowledge to discern manipulation in discourse and to engage more effectively in arguments. This chapter not only helps you protect your opinions from being undermined by faulty reasoning, but also enhances your ability to communicate persuasively and correctly in various situations. Number 7. Group pressure. Group pressure, also known as peer pressure, is a powerful form of social influence that can significantly impact our decisions, beliefs, and behaviors. This manipulation tactic leverages the innate human desire to fit in and be accepted by others. Understanding how group pressure works and learning how to navigate and resist it are crucial for maintaining individual autonomy and making decisions that truly align with one's personal values and interests. The dynamics of group pressure. Group pressure operates by exploiting our social instincts. Humans are inherently social creatures who seek acceptance and approval from their social groups, whether these are friends, family, professional peers, or cultural communities. The fear of ostracism can drive individuals to conform to group norms and behaviors, even when these are contrary to their personal beliefs or detrimental to their well-being. Techniques employed in group pressure. Conformity appeals. This involves creating an environment where the majority opinion is seen as the norm. Individuals are led to believe that aligning with this opinion is essential for social acceptance. Mockery and ridicule. Used as a tool to punish and deter nonconformity, mockery and ridicule are powerful emotional triggers that can compel individuals to change their stance to avoid further embarrassment or isolation. Isolation threats. Implicit or explicit threats of exclusion can coerce individuals into compliance. The manipulator may hint or openly state that nonconformity could result in exclusion from group activities or social circles. Incentivization. Rewards, either social or material, are offered to those who comply with the group norms. These rewards can range from social privileges and status enhancements to financial or professional benefits. Recognizing group pressure. Recognizing when you're under the influence of group pressure is vital to maintaining personal integrity. Signs include feeling uncomfortable with group decisions. If you frequently find yourself agreeing with group decisions that you internally disagree with, This could be a sign of succumbing to group pressure. Changing opinions to match the group. Notice if your opinions shift easily in the presence of others, especially if you revert to your original beliefs in private. Fear of speaking out. If the thought of expressing dissenting opinions causes anxiety due to potential social repercussions, group pressure is likely at play. Countering group pressure. Resisting group pressure requires courage, self-awareness, and strategic action. Affirm personal values. Clearly define and regularly affirm your personal values and beliefs. Understanding what is truly important to you helps in resisting pressures to conform. Develop assertiveness. Learning to express your thoughts and opinions assertively, without aggression or passivity, empowers you to stand your ground in face of group pressure. Cultivate a diverse social network. Having relationships outside of a single influential group provides emotional support and alternative perspectives that can bolster resistance to undue pressure. Seek information independently. Make decisions based on information gathered independently, rather than relying solely on group-shared data, which may be biased. Navigating group pressure effectively is essential for maintaining your autonomy and ensuring that your decisions are genuinely your own. By recognizing, understanding, and effectively countering this type of manipulation, you can protect your individuality while still benefiting from healthy social interactions. Number 8. Isolation tactics. Isolation is a manipulation tactic that involves separating an individual from their support network to increase dependence on the manipulator. This tactic is commonly used in abusive relationships, but can also appear in subtler forms in workplaces, friendships, and family dynamics. Understanding how isolation works and recognizing its signs can help individuals maintain their social connections and personal independence. Understanding isolation tactics. Isolation tactics are employed to control and manipulate by cutting off the victim's ties to others. This can make the victim more vulnerable to the manipulator's influence as they become the primary or sole source of interaction, information, and emotional support. Techniques used in isolation. Disparaging others. The manipulator may criticize or disparage the victim's friends and family, suggesting that these individuals are not genuinely interested in the victim's well-being, creating doubt and mistrust. Limiting social interaction. The manipulator might insist that the victim spend more time with them exclusively, gradually reducing the victim's time with others. Controlling communication. By controlling or monitoring phone calls, messages, and social media interactions, the manipulator can limit who the victim communicates with and how often. Creating dependency. The manipulator may foster dependency by positioning themselves as the only person who truly understands or cares for the victim, making it difficult for the victim to seek help or external perspectives. Recognizing isolation. Recognizing isolation begins with awareness of changes in your social habits and relationships. Reduced contact with others. If you notice that you are seeing your friends and family less frequently, ask yourself why. Is it by choice or has someone else influenced this change? Feeling cut off. A sense of loneliness or being cut off from support networks, even if you are physically around others, can be indicative of emotional isolation. Dependence on one person. If you find that your emotional, social, or informational needs are increasingly being met by just one person, consider whether this is healthy and sustainable. Countering isolation tactics. Countering isolation involves proactive efforts to maintain and strengthen your social connections. Reconnect with family and friends. Make an effort to reach out to your social network. Regular contact can help counteract feelings of isolation and dependence on the manipulator. Set boundaries. Clearly communicate your need for a diverse social life. Assertiveness in maintaining and expanding your social interactions is key. Seek professional help. If isolation has significantly impacted your life, seeking help from a counselor or therapist can provide support and strategies for rebuilding your social independence. Isolation tactics can have profound effects on one's psychological well-being and autonomy. By understanding these tactics, recognizing their signs, and taking steps to counteract them, you can preserve your social networks and maintain a healthy, independent social life. This chapter provides the tools needed to identify and combat isolation, ensuring that your relationships remain balanced and supportive. Number 9. Handling ultimatums. Ultimatums in manipulation are tactics that force you into a corner, presenting a stark choice between two extremes, typically under pressure. This method plays on the urgency to make a decision, often limiting the perceived viable options to what the manipulator desires. Understanding how to recognize and handle ultimatums effectively is essential for maintaining your autonomy and making choices that align with your values and long-term interests. The nature of ultimatums. Ultimatums are often used in both personal and professional contexts to expedite a decision by creating a false sense of urgency. They can be explicit, such as, "If you don't agree to this now, you can forget about the promotion," or more implicit, subtly suggesting dire consequences without a direct threat. The common denominator is that ultimatums restrict your ability to consider a situation thoughtfully by insisting on an immediate decision, thereby manipulating the outcome. Techniques employed in ultimatums. Emotional blackmail. This involves linking the decision to emotional outcomes, such as disappointment, anger, or even withdrawal of affection, thus playing on the victim's fears and desires for approval. False dilemmas. Presenting only two choices where more may exist, or where the spectrum of options is not simply black or white, restricts the decision-making process to a simple binary choice, often skewed in favor of the manipulator. Threats of loss. The manipulator may threaten loss, either of an opportunity, relationship, or material benefit, unless you comply with their demands. Recognizing ultimatums. Recognizing when an ultimatum is being used against you involves noticing the pressure to make a quick decision and the limitation of choices. Sense of urgency. If you are being pushed to make an important decision more quickly than feels comfortable, it might be an ultimatum. Limited options. Be wary of situations where only two options are presented as the only possible outcomes, especially if both have significant consequences. Emotional weight. If the decision is framed in a way that heavily plays on your emotions, especially guilt or fear, it's likely an ultimatum. Countering ultimatums. Effectively responding to ultimatums involves asserting your right to consider all options and to make decisions at your own pace. Request time. Always ask for more time to think about the decision, regardless of the pressure to respond immediately. This can help diffuse the urgency and give you space to evaluate your options more thoroughly. Expand options. Actively seek or suggest alternatives that are not being presented. This demonstrates that you are not confined to the choices laid out by the manipulator. Clarify consequences. Discuss and clarify the real consequences of each option. Often, the outcomes may not be as severe as the manipulator suggests. Assert independence. Make it clear that your decisions are yours to make and that you will not be coerced into choosing under pressure. Handling ultimatums with confidence and clarity can help preserve your decision-making freedom. By understanding the nature of ultimatums and implementing strategies to counter them, you ensure that your choices remain your own, free from undue influence and manipulation. Number 10. Recognizing and confronting manipulation. This chapter synthesizes our exploration of the various forms of manipulation, emphasizing the importance of recognizing and confronting these tactics effectively. It serves as a comprehensive guide to empowering yourself against the manipulative tactics that might otherwise undermine your autonomy and integrity in both personal and professional settings. Comprehensive review of manipulative tactics. We have discussed numerous forms of manipulation, from emotional manipulation and gaslighting to logical fallacies and isolation tactics. Each form has its unique characteristics and methods of influence, yet they all share the common goal of swaying your decisions and behaviors in favor of the manipulator. Strategies for recognizing manipulation. Educational awareness. Continuously educate yourself about manipulation. The more you know, the better equipped you are to recognize its signs. Mindful observation. Pay close attention to your interactions with others. Look for patterns that suggest manipulation, such as inconsistencies, pressure tactics, or emotional triggers. Consultation and communication. When in doubt, discuss your concerns with trusted individuals. External perspectives can provide clarity and validation. Effective techniques for confrontation. Direct communication. Address manipulation directly with the manipulator. Clearly state what you perceive and assert your boundaries, strengthening resilience. Build your emotional and psychological resilience. The stronger your sense of self, the less impact manipulation will have on you. Maintaining independence. Ensure that your decisions are made independently. Avoid over-reliance on any single source for emotional support or decision-making guidance. Understanding and confronting manipulation are crucial skills for navigating the complexities of interpersonal relationships and maintaining your personal agency. By implementing the strategies discussed throughout this guide, you can safeguard your autonomy and engage in more genuine and mutually respectful relationships. As we conclude this exploration, remember that the ability to recognize and confront manipulation not only protects you, but also enhances your interactions and relationships, fostering a healthier social environment for everyone involved.